Go live. Afternoon, everyone. How are you doing today? Let me share this on Facebook. I know this is annoying that I sit here and kind of have to share this, but it's what I have to do to make sure people are watching. So I appreciate it. Week 2 picks. Here we go. Week 2 picks. I'll put a money emoji because that'll be stupid. Search emoji. Money. Bags. Boom. Post. All right. Let's do it. What is up? Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another episode of the NFL version of the What Had Happened Was podcast. I am Mike Dendarski, your hostess with the mostest, here for week 2. Before you know it, I'm going to be saying this is week 9 of the picks, and I'm going to be talking about holy shit, where'd the season go? And hopefully I'll be well over 500. It is hard to go above 500 against the spread. I know people claim that they go 80%, they go 75%. It's hard to go over 500 when you pick every single game. Now, obviously, I don't bet every single game. Last week, I did well. I just kind of got screwed with Tennessee and LA. Tennessee again is looking kind of sketchy. I'm assuming Mariota is going to play, but who knows? All right, let's go down the list. So not last night. Jesus Christ, it's Saturday. So Thursday night, Cincinnati came out. Andy Dalton threw 4 first half touchdowns, 3 to AJ Green, and they didn't give the lead back to Baltimore. They won that game 28-17, I believe it was. 28-24, whatever. They won the game by more than 1. They were giving a point. That was my pick for the night. I picked Cincinnati -1, won that game. Baltimore still looks inconsistent. They were inconsistent last year. You never knew which team was going to show up. They almost made the playoffs, but they lost to Cincinnati week 17, and that let the Bills in the playoffs. After making the playoffs, the Bills decided to move on from Tyrod Taylor, who's now in Cleveland. Nathan Peterman looked like dog shit. They've now gone to Josh Allen. And I don't know why I'm talking about all these games. I'm going to try to go in order. So Thursday night, Cincinnati won. There's no need to go over that. Let's see what's next on the list here on ESPN. We have Falcons, Panthers. Atlanta started the week off at a 5.5-point favorite. They're all the way up to a 6-point favorite now. Are they better than what they showed Thursday night opener against the Eagles? Yes. Are they 6 points better than the Panthers? I don't think so. The Cowboys did not show up at all. They really have done Dak a disservice. I don't know if Dak's the issue, if the Cowboys receivers are the issue, but I know that teams are going to stack the box, stop Zeke, and dare Dak to beat them. So far, he's not been able to do that. Whether it's him, whether it's the weapons they're giving him, I don't know. But all I know is that he's been unable to do that. So the Panthers did not have some impressive win against Dallas, and the Falcons looked awful in the red zone again against the Eagles. The Panthers still have a pretty decent defense. Cam Newton's going to score. The Falcons just lost Keanu O'Neal. They lost Deion Jones. I know it's just on defense. It's not like they lost Matt Ryan, but when you lose a middle linebacker of that caliber and that speed and a safety of that caliber and that kind of coverage ability, you're going to lose something, especially down the middle. That kid Casey looked good, but not that good. I'm taking Carolina +6 in that game. I don't see Atlanta being able to kind of win by more than a touchdown. So give me Carolina +6. All right, we're on to the next one, which I've already mentioned. Josh Allen is going to get his first career start in the NFL. Kid has a huge arm. He has bad mechanics. Let's just put it that way. If you go on Twitter, you can see plenty of pictures or little videos, little GIFs, whatever, of his miscues against Baltimore last week. He did come in at the end of the game. Nathan Peterman, again, is not an NFL quarterback. We found that out. He looked good this preseason. Last year, he stepped in. He threw 5 interceptions and a half. This year, he didn't look much better. I'm not even certain he completed 5 passes the entire time he was in the game. It was really, really bad. 47-3, I believe the final score was. This week, they get the Chargers. I don't know if Joey Bosa is playing or not. Let me pull that up. I'm assuming no. Let's see. Joey Bosa. injury. I guess I should have looked this up beforehand, but why would I do that? Bosa injury update, could be out beyond opener. He's ruled out week 2 with a foot injury. That doesn't surprise me. He's getting a second opinion. He could be out a lot longer than I think they anticipated. Anytime it's a foot injury, who I just mentioned, Deion Jones, he's out for a while with a foot injury. So it could be a while that he's out. I don't think it matters. The Chargers are laying 7.5 in Buffalo. I'm going to lay the 7.5 until Buffalo proves they can score points. At this rate, I think the Chargers can score 21 points and cover that 7.5 spread. Josh Allen is not ready yet. Can he be a really, really good NFL quarterback? Maybe. He's got the arm talent. He's got the athleticism. He has this kind of that ceiling that everybody's looking for. I don't know that he'll ever get to it, but the kid has the athletic tools to do it. I don't think he's ready yet. So give me the Chargers minus 7.5, even though that game is in Buffalo. Right now, that brings us to the most intriguing game. Green Bay is currently -1, but I think that's basically because Vegas has no clue whether or not Aaron Rodgers is playing. Mike McCarthy's playing it close to the vest. I don't see how Aaron Rodgers doesn't play. Whether he plays or not, I'm taking Minnesota. I just don't trust Rodgers to stay healthy. Let me get this taken care of. I don't trust Rodgers to stay healthy at all. I'm just going to keep saying random words. Reset. This is I gotta figure out that situation. I don't know why it does that every time. Either way, Aaron Rodgers does not, for whatever reason, he's falling apart. He can't stay healthy. He has, whether it's the O line in front of him, he's just becoming more brittle. I don't know what it is, but I don't trust Aaron Rodgers to stay healthy, especially against that Vikings defense. The Bears defense is pretty damn good. The Vikings defense is one step above that. You saw what they did to Jimmy G last week, forced 3 interceptions, harassed him, made him throw it all over the yard, hit him quite a few times. I do not like the Packers' chances. They don't have enough weapons. Devontae Adams is good. Jimmy Graham is good. Don't get me wrong. Ty Cobb, Ty Montgomery, they all sound good. But for whatever reason, they're all like minimized versions of themselves. Give me Minnesota and whatever points they're getting. Even if they're -3 by the time Sunday rolls around, I'm fine with it. But right now, I have it as Minnesota +1, and I'll take that all day and twice on Sunday. Haha, see what I did there? I made a stupid joke. Oh man, that wasn't even a joke. All right, this line, a game I don't know why I care so much about the Titans, but I do. But not many other people do. So this game started off, as a 1.5 point line. Houston was a 1.5 point favorite. They're now all the way up to a 3 point favorite. I think this is still some of that Deshaun Jackson allure from last year. You saw what the Patriots did. They were able to shut him down and make him look pedestrian. I think that trend is going to continue. I think we're going to see this year why Deshaun Watson fell. I know a lot of people gave the Jets shit for passing on him. A lot of people gave the Browns shit for passing on him. The Jets took Jamal Adams. I believe the Browns took Myles Garrett. They passed on Deshaun Watson. I think you're going to see this year why a lot of teams were so willing to pass on him. I have not seen any update on Mariota. Last I saw was he's going to play, but they were going to give Blaine Gabbert some reps so that he could I don't know. I think Mariota is going to play. I think they're playing it close to the vest, but Gabbert, I think, got some reps just in case he wasn't able to go. I'm taking Tennessee +3. That Houston defense is really good. J.J. Watt, Jadeveon Clowney, Tyrann Mathieu, they are very good. It's probably going to be a low-scoring game, but I don't know. I don't trust them as a 3 point favorite. They are a road team, so anytime you can take a home dog, I'm going to take the home dog. I'm going to take Tennessee +3 and not have to worry about that. A home favorite that this line's oscillated quite a bit. It started off at New Orleans 9, came down to 8.5, and now it's crept back up to 9.5. The Saints looked like the Saints again in Week 1. Ryan Fitzpatrick torched them. Drew Brees kept pace somewhat. It kind of got a little out of control there for a little bit, and I think the Saints were able to put some quote unquote garbage time numbers up. But I'm gonna take the Browns +9.5. I don't know. see them scoring a late touchdown to get that garbage time, bring in Baker Mayfield. They're down 14 at the end of the game. He gets them in range. They get a touchdown, whatever. I just think that the Saints win that game. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But I'm going to take the Browns plus 9.5 all day. It's just a lot of points for a team that I don't think is a complete team. The Cleveland Browns are not a complete team either, but they're not a 9.5 point dog to a team that's going to give up a lot of points. So I'm taking the Browns plus 9.5, but the Saints to win the game. So if you want to go ahead and take the Saints minus 9.5, that's probably not a bad pick because I've been wrong before. Trust me. Plenty of times. Saints cost me a lot of money last year. I was wrong on them all year. I thought they were going to fall apart at some point, them and the Vikings both, and they ended up playing each other in the playoffs. And playoffs, just want to win another game. Yeah, so I was wrong on them all year. But it's looking like I can definitely take this early season points, and that's what I'm going to do. Damn, that looks slow motion on Facebook. I took my hat off if you're wondering what I'm talking about. Anyway, on to the Jets and the Dolphins. The Jets are everybody's darling after 1 week. Sam Darnold started off his career with a pick six. That was a pretty poor throw. If you didn't watch the game on Monday night, he rolled out to his right, tried to throw it all the way back across the field. The safety from the Lions picked it off, took it back to the end zone. Jets are down 7-0. One play into Darnold's career. He shook it off like the cool California kid that he is. If I had to hear that one more time, that he doesn't get frazzled because he's from California and he's just calm and collected, like every fucking person from California is just water off a duck's back or whatever they say. Apparently, if you're born, it's like horoscopes. Like if you're born in December, everyone born in December has the same disposition, or everyone born in June has the same disposition. If you're born within this certain geographic region, you have the same temperament as everyone else. I have a feeling that there's some raging, anxious, crazy people in California. They're not all laid back. Something tells me that there's some high-strung people in California. They can't all be laid back. Anyway, the Jets are giving 2.5 in their home opener. That line has actually come down from 3, which tells me Vegas was not a huge fan of the Jets, and they were jumping on that 3 points for the Dolphins because anytime you can get a full field goal, you're likely to at least get a push. It's come down to 2.5, I guess, to entice people to take the Jets, and they suckered me right in. They sucked me right in. Everything about this bet says I should be taking Miami plus 2.5. The Jets started off at 3, came down to 2.5, which says the Sharps like the Jets. It's not a new hat. It's old as shiza. Doesn't even have a ball on the top anymore. It's old. It's just not the Blue Jays hat. You can eat a dick. How about that? While wearing my hat. Machine Gun Kelly, that ass. No. Yeah, so I'm taking the Jets minus 2.5, even though everything about this line says I shouldn't. Another line that's oscillated. I started tracking the lines from Tuesday. So I did like the Tuesday line, the Thursday line, and the Saturday line. And it's interesting to see how quickly they go from one to another. One to another. That was a very descriptive word there. No, from one way to the other. So the Steelers are home against the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, I think his debut was a little bit overblown. He had a lot of quick passes, a lot of shovel passes. I think 3 of his touchdowns were like little touch passes that basically would have been handoffs in year pass. But like now the NFL's doing this thing where instead of handing it off on that jet sweep, they kind of like volleyball tap it to their receiver in case it's dropped. Then it's a drop and it's an incompletion, not a fumble, which I guess is smart, but it just seems, I don't know, seems weird to me. Yeah, well, it's, that's the way the podcast is these days. Not many people listen anymore. Only about 100 people anymore. I need to start doing more interviews again. But then that would take a lot of time. No, I'm not going to do interviews again. I'll just talk to myself and like my 100 listeners. And that's all I'm going to do. And I'm content with that. Or I'll keep telling myself that. Anyway, the line started off Pittsburgh -5, went down to -4, and then jumped all the way back up to 5.5. So obviously, when that line went down to 4, people jumped on Pittsburgh. I think 5.5 is a little much. Even though I just said I was not very impressed with Pat Mahomes' debut. I think stats-wise, it looked great. I think stats-wise, you can't argue with Mahomes did. Unfortunately, I just think that the Steelers are a little bit better suited for that kind of quick play game than the Chargers were. Melvin Ingram looked lost on a couple of those quick touch passes. He was trying to get after the quarterback, and they got around him. Andy Reid's a great game planner. I'm still taking KC +5, but just beware. I'm not super confident about this game because I think that Mahomes' debut was a little bit inflated by some of those quick touch passes. A game I'm very confident on. The Eagles going down to Tampa, up to a 3.5 point favorite. It started off at 3, just a field goal. I know I just talked about home dogs, but this one, I just think the Eagles are such a better team. I think Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's kind of like Joe Flacco. So Flacco had a great first week against the Bills. Then he looked kind of bad against the Bengals. And while I'm talking about the Ravens, let's talk about what they're doing with Lamar Jackson, because I don't think they're doing him any favors. They're just bringing the kid in for gadget plays, bringing him in the red zone. It's not helping the offensive flow. It's not helping Joe Flacco. If you're going to go to him, let him run actual plays. Otherwise, he's not learning how to play quarterback in the NFL. You're not helping his development at all for him to come in and do an option draw or a quick run around the outside. It's just not helping his development at all. What I think they need to do is let Flacco play, and when games get out of control, go to Jackson. Flacco knows the deal. He's just got to own it. I mean, I know it's not fun to know that your time's up, and I'm not talking about hashtag me too or hashtag time's up. His time is just up. He's not going to be the quarterback for more than another couple of years, and he needs to kind of embrace it the way McCown did in New York and be a good teammate and help the transition, not hurt it. The Ravens pay him a shit ton of money. He can kind of, help transition to a new quarterback. Now, speaking of quarterbacks, Carson Wentz, he's still out. You're going to get the Nick Foles. Let me confirm that before I start saying that. I'm almost positive, though, he's not playing. Carson Wentz hasn't been ruled out for week 2, but week 3 return is more realistic. Yes. So I think they haven't. Carson Wentz is still not cleared for, he's still not cleared for contact. All right. So Foles is going to start. Wentz isn't cleared for contact. It wouldn't surprise me if Wentz is back sooner rather than later. But for now, it's Foles. I don't care who the quarterback is. I think that the Phillies defense is going to pick off Fitzpatrick multiple times. I think they're going to pressure him. Maybe they won't pick him off multiple times, but they're going to turn him over. He's going to fumble the ball. They're going to pick him off. Fitzpatrick will look like Fitzpatrick against the Eagles. I think you can take this one to the bank. This is one of my most confident picks of the week. I'm taking the Eagles -3.5 in Tampa Bay. Washington, another NFC East team. The Slurs are home in their home opener against the Colts. They're -6, and that line has been at 6 pretty much the whole week. And if you learned one thing on Monday night, when a line stays at 6, it kind of means Vegas isn't super sold on the favorite. So the Lions, for example, were a 6.5 point favorite all week, and it never really changed from there. What that means is Vegas is scared to bet the Lions to get it up to 7. At that point, now it's a full touchdown, and that's a pretty common end game. So if a line stays frozen at 6, it's kind of telling you that Vegas likes the other side. Vegas certainly likes the Colts. I do not. I'm taking Washington -6 here. Even though, again, that's another line that's kind of telling you should probably take Indy. I'm taking the Skins. I think Alex Smith is underrated for what he can do for that offense. Don't believe the Adrian Peterson stuff. It's not going to be repeatable throughout the season. He got a fluky long pass that he caught. It's not his game. It never has been his game. Don't buy into that Adrian Peterson stuff. If you want to pick him up in fantasy, fine, but do not go betting big on the Redskins because now you're an Adrian Peterson guy. It's not going to be repeatable. He had a couple big games last year, and then he fell off. It's going to happen again. He's over the hill. He's done. He's going to fumble the ball. He's been known to do that, and he will continue to do that. We'll head out west now. The Rams and the Cardinals. This is the first. It's a 4:05 game because CBS has the doubleheader. So Fox games will be on at 4:05. CBS games at 4:25. Rams and Cardinals, the 4:05 game. You have the Rams -13. It started off -12.5. Obviously, people were jumping on the Rams at that. LA went up to -13. I'm going to take LA -13. I don't know. Their defense is really, really good. I think they're going to harass Sam Bradford. I can see that game being very easily being like, 24-10 so that the Rams cover, but they don't really blow them out because the Cardinals defense isn't awful. It's just fallen off from what it used to be. So I would take the Rams -13. Jared Goff really has some accuracy and consistency issues that have been swept under the rug these past couple of, I guess you could say, I won't say whole past couple of years, but the last 18, 19 games, because he's got a really good defense. He's got Todd Gurley to throw the ball to, but he throws some passes that you're like, wow, that was pretty inaccurate. Cooper Kupp had a couple of drops Monday night. The Rams looked sloppy, and they still won that game going away. I don't know if that says more about the Rams or the Raiders, but I don't know. I don't think Jared Goff is quite as good as people are making him out to be. I think he leaves a lot of plays out on the field. He's still a little inaccurate, and he's got a ways to go if he wants to really take this team to the next level, as opposed to just being a one and out playoff team again. That being said, I still like them minus 13, and I do think he can improve. He's young. He's a young quarterback. I think he's a full 2 years younger than Wentz. They came out together, obviously. Goff. Let's see his age. Wikipedia. Wikipedia. He's still only 23. He was born October 14th, 1994. So he'll be 24 in a month. But to still be 23 and have started as many games as he has, you got to kind of like that. So let's see what Wentz is. Wentz, I know I talked about this last year, but maybe people didn't listen. So Goff, it will be 24 in a month. Wentz is already 25, will be 26 in December. So Wentz is almost a full 2 years older than Goff. Now, I know that's not going to make a difference in their careers. Obviously, people would still rather have Wentz than Goff at this point, but I'm just saying Goff is a full 2 years younger, so he may take another year to reach that peak, whereas Wentz should probably be there in the next year or two. If Carson Wentz takes a step back this year because of the ACL, it's understood. But the next season, Carson Wentz should be where he needs to be. Whereas Goff, you still want to see some growth because the kid's still, he's not even 24 yet, like I said. So he's still inaccurate. I'm taking them minus 13. Sorry, I got off onto that tangent for a little bit. The line that I think is one of the crazier lines, but then I kind of started thinking about it, and it's not so crazy. San Fran and Detroit. Detroit goes to San Francisco after that ass whooping they took on Monday night, and they're a 6-point underdog. So the Lions go into San Francisco. Jimmy G, Q, and company are 6-point favorites. I don't know that San Francisco should be a 6-point favorite on a team that went 9-7 and was probably not an NFC North contender, but a really good team. I don't know that they should be, but they did just play the Vikings. They played them close. I think they lost by 8 points, and that was with Jimmy G turning the ball over 3 times. So maybe the Niners are a pretty darn good team. If you can turn the ball over 3 times and still only lose by 8 to the Vikings, I'd say you did something well. I didn't watch the game, so I don't know if the Vikings got up and then kind of just put it in cruise control, so to speak, and let the Niners come back and keep it close or what. So I'm not going to pretend like I saw that. But when I saw the box score, saw the 3 INTs by Garoppolo, and saw that it was only an 8-point game, I was like, maybe the Niners are better than I think. That being said, I'm still taking Detroit plus 6. I think they're better than what they showed on Monday night. The game just ended up getting away from them, and they had to go away from their game plan. The whole first half, the game was tight. The Jets put up 31 points in the third quarter, and that was just it. They picked off Stafford 5 times. That's not going to happen every week. I think the Lions are going to be in a lot more games than they get blown out in. So I'm taking Detroit plus 6 for that reason. I don't even know who I would bet to win the game, but if you're going to give me 6 points, I'll take 6 points. Same kind of thing in this next game. This is the first CBS game of 425er. The Broncos are home in Mile High. The Raiders come to town. The Raiders, man, I don't want to be the guy who says, oh, the game's past John Gruden already because of one game, but the game might be past John Gruden. He's, I don't know. I don't know what you would say. He's rubbed people the wrong way. They have one of the oldest rosters in the league, and one of the biggest questions was, how will he handle the new kind of youngsters, the millennials, so to speak? I'd say not well when you have a average roster over 30 years old. That's not the way the league is trending. You don't want a bunch of dinosaurs. I know he won with an old Tim Brown and an old Rich Gannon and an old Jerry Rice before. I get it. But this ain't 1995 anymore. This ain't 2005 anymore. It's 2018. The league has changed, and a lot of it was changed due to some of his offensive schemes. He really was instrumental in a lot of these schemes. He's an Andy Reid disciple, I believe, or he and Andy Reid are from the same coaching tree, I guess I should say, out there in Green Bay. They were both in Green Bay. And they do have those, you know, those roots and those offensive roots, and Andy Reid's still innovating. So of course John Gruden can. I don't think Denver's good enough to be a 6.5 point favorite on anyone. They pushed last week against Seattle. They did win the game, but they should have. They harassed Russell Wilson. That game should not have been as close as it was. So I'm going to take Oakland plus 6.5 for the simple fact that I'm not sold on Denver yet. My reasoning for a lot of picks this week is pretty poor. The premier game of the week, I would say, it's the 425 doubleheader CBS. You've got New England and you've got the Jaguars. New England is going down to Jacksonville, and they're actually a 1 point favorite, which is rare when you have two good teams that they're a 1 point favorite. I think the Jaguars are butthurt about last year's AFC Championship game. The Chiefs, the Patriots always lay an egg at the beginning of the year against someone. Last year it was against the Chiefs on opening night. Kareem Hunt ran wild on them. The year before, I believe, or a couple years back, it was against the Broncos, where the Broncos went wild on them. The Patriots have been known to definitely lay an egg at the beginning of the year. I don't think this is the game. I think they're going to be ready for this one. I'm taking the Patriots -1, which basically means I think they will win the game, because let's be honest, a 1 point line is basically a pick 'em line. I think the Patriots win that game. It just seems, let's put it this way, and he's given them no reason to trust him, but it seems like Jacksonville does not trust. But let's make sure he's 100% go. He's got to be if the line hasn't shifted. It would have went way more to the Patriots if it wasn't. Fournette. Leonard Fournette injury puts TJ Yeldon in spotlight again. He's questionable, and I'm surprised that line hasn't shifted, because if Fournette can't go, I mean, TJ Yeldon's good, but he's no Leonard Fournette. And it's not as, I guess I shouldn't say that, because Fournette, I believe, averaged under 4 yards a carry last year. It's not as if he lit the league on fire. A lot of his yards came like when games were already decided, especially against the Steelers. I know that's the game everybody points to, like, oh, he was for real there. But no, I'll take New England -1 just because they'll make them one-dimensional, and Bortles cannot beat them. Not that he can, he may be able to, but the Jags aren't going to let him. They're going to try to, keep it close to the vest, and it's just going to blow up in their face. If the Patriots get up early, that game could get ugly. That Jags defense, though, is for real, and I was very surprised how well the Giants played them. Which leads me into the Sunday night game, Cowboys and Giants. I know everyone talks about ratings. This is an NFC East game, primetime matchup. Cowboys, I guarantee you will not see many tweets from our president about how the ratings are down, because this will be one of the more highly rated games of the season. You got, again, the Cowboys, an NFL matchup, the Giants. This game is going to get a huge rating for NBC on Sunday night. It wouldn't surprise me going forward if they try their best to keep NFC East teams in there, AFC North teams, your Steelers, your Cowboys, your Raiders. Those kind of teams draw nationwide. I know they've been trying lately with the Thursday night games, especially, to kind of spread the love, but it wouldn't surprise me to see on those Sunday night marquee matchups that they try to keep it like those. I don't want to sound like an East Coast bias, but those are the teams that draw ratings, especially since Peyton Manning isn't in Denver anymore. You're going to get more ratings with the Patriots or the Cowboys or the Giants than you are with the Seahawks or the Cardinals. It's just a fact of life, like fucking Tootie. The facts of life. The Facts of Life. I miss some 80s sitcoms. Was it The Facts of Life? What you talking about? What was that one? Different Strokes? Or a couple different ones. Anyway, more importantly, the pick. I'm taking the Giants +3. I don't know how the Cowboys. I mean, it's in Dallas, so I do know why they're the favorite, but I can't put any money on Dallas. We all watched that game. They've got Travis Frederick is out with that Guillain-Barré syndrome or whatever. Tyron Smith is clearly not healthy, but he's out there gutting it out. Zach Martin, not healthy. I just think the teams are going to be able to gear up. Do you have Snacks Harrison in the middle of that line? Olivier Vernon may not play, but still, Landon Collins is going to come down and stack the box. Alec Ogletree is much better against the run than he is against the pass. I'm taking the Giants +3. I don't even think it's a question. I'm not going to take the Cowboys probably at all this year. Vegas, for whatever reason, and Madden always inflate the Cowboys, and I'll bet against them all year, and I'll probably go 12-4 because they're just not a good team. They are it. I think this could be Jason Garrett's last year, and it's through no fault of his own. They don't have a lot of talent, and Dak doesn't make the talent around him better. I don't think it's all Dak's fault, but it's pretty clear that he does not make the talent around him better. They've not given him much. And I just read a good article on ESPN that the reason they've not been able to give him much is because when the Cowboys restructure guys, what they do is they convert a lot of their money to bonus money, so it ends up being dead money on the cap for like a 3-4 year stretch. So they just got done paying Tony Romo, and been in the booth now. This is his second year. They were still paying Jason Witten, but luckily they knew he was going to retire. He kind of told them ahead of time, so they didn't restructure his deal. If they end up restructuring a guy like Zach Martin or Tyron Smith, they're going to be on the hook for quite a bit of money. I think the Travis Frederick one is the one that really could jack them up, because he's got that, like I said, that that autoimmune disease, and they're going to owe him quite a bit of money, and he may not even be on the field, which sucks for him, because I mean, get well soon. But when it's your team and it's their cap situation, you want them. It'd be nice if they had a wide receiver for Dak to throw the ball to, and I think Des Bryant's still available. Although I think that that ship may have sailed. All right, last game of the week, Monday night, Bears, Seahawks, Chicago, -3.5. I'm all over that. I was all over them against the Packers. Aaron Rodgers, what a comeback. I mean, you can't take anything away from the guy, but one, he's a douchebag, and two, he's proven he's brittle, and I don't know that he's going to make it through this season. So forget about Aaron Rodgers. This is more about Khalil Mack and that Bears D. The Bears D was really good without Mack. He just put it to a whole nother level. So I'm taking Chicago -3.5. I know Russell Wilson. It's hard to bet against that guy in prime time, but he doesn't have weapons. Like, they have people I've never even heard of leading their team in receptions and yards. Rashad Penny's obviously still there. Chris Carson is still there, but their offensive line is terrible. Again, they have no wide receivers. Who knows what they have at tight end? I just don't know that Russell Wilson can scramble around and do it himself, especially against a defense that's better than what they faced against Denver. Yeah, they have Von Miller, but they also just lost Aqib Talib. TJ Ward was gone a couple years ago from that defense. Danny Trevathan's been gone for now a couple of years. He's actually with Chicago. So that Denver defense is not quite what it used to be, and they struggled to move the ball against them. Chicago, I think, is a better defense. The only issue is Mitchell Trubisky. That kid is still in, I don't know, don't lose the game mode, game manager mode, I guess you could say. At some point, they're going to have to take the training wheels off and let him go, let him sink or swim, and see how he does. I think it's not going to be this week, because I think they're going to be able to, run the ball, keep it close, and just win the game. They're not going to need him to kind of win them the game. You saw what happened when they needed him to win them the game against the Packers. He was unable to do it. The play calling, Matt Nagy is an Andy Reid disciple. He probably should have run the ball on 3rd and short, just pretty much run out the clock to the 2-minute warning. If they got the first down, it probably would have ended the game, because they would have been able to run it down pretty much to nothing, kick the field goal, been up 6, and Aaron Rodgers would have had very little time to work with no timeouts. But as it is, they're 0-1. Mitchell Trubisky wasn't able to get them the win. I think he's going to be able to do just enough. So give me Chicago -3.5. To recap, we're at Carolina +6. Chargers -7.5, Vikings +1, Tennessee +3, Cleveland +9.5, the Jets -2.5, Kansas City +5.5, Philadelphia -3.5, Washington -6, the Rams -13, the Lions +6, Oakland +6.5, New England -1, the Giants +3, and the Bears -3.5. There you have it, folks. That's it for week 2. I will be back Sunday night. The Jets play at 1. I'll probably watch Patriots Jaguars, but in between the Patriots Jaguars game, when that ends, and then when Dallas and the Giants starts, I will probably record the Sunday podcast, depending upon baths and getting the kids in bed. But look for me back Sunday night with some football reaction, but an actual just regular What Had Happened Was podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. See you back on Sunday.